Hello, if you're just joining us. This is a response to an assault with a deadly weapon call here on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street here in Canyon Country. And as you can see, sheriff's deputies detaining, looks like a family of four, quite possibly. They're looking at one female here who's being handcuffed on the backside of this building here. But this call originating once again on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street, once again here in Canyon Country. If you're not familiar with where this is, we're at the corner of Nearbrook Street and Crossglade Avenue, and they're looking at a home here just on the other side of the Jack in the Box restaurant here, once again off of Soledad Canyon Road, just east of White's Canyon Road. So this call going out over the last 15 to 20 minutes in this area. And they were making call-outs just a short time ago. If you first joined us, you saw a sheriff's deputy with her weapon drawn. They were making call-outs just a short time ago for the occupants of a home here on Nearbrook Street to exit the home and to come out with their hands up. And this looks like a family of possibly four people coming out of that house with their hands up. You can see at least a woman and two children and a man. And right now they're just detaining and ascertaining, and that's what their typical procedure is to detain those involved. And we're seeing another adult being detained here at the scene as well, so that brings the total up to quite possibly 5 people. And typically what their procedure is to detain and ascertain. What they're going to do is detain people, not necessarily arrest them, but detain them and ascertain further details from that. But this is in response to an assault with a deadly weapon call, and we can hear them making additional call-outs at this point in time. We're going to zoom in just a second, and they're making call-outs once again for the people of a home here on Nearbrook Street to exit the home. And you can hear the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Aero Bureau in the air just above me right now, and they're orbiting to try to give deputies on the ground a better aerial perspective. So they're giving them really an eye from the sky. And so you can see the deputies using their service weapons to, one, secure the scene, but two, they're asking people who are in this home to exit the home and come out with their hands up. They're making call-outs over their vehicle loudspeakers, and that's what they're doing right now, once again in response to a reported assault with a deadly weapon call. So right now, this is the early stages of the investigation. Right now, they're just what I said earlier, detaining and ascertaining. But we can see that Nearbrook Street is shut down at Crossglade Avenue. So if you live on Nearbrook Street before it turns into Altamere, and it looks like we have additional sheriff's deputies joining us on the other side. So you can see those deputies coming in, and they're wearing full tactical gear right now. Not full tactical gear, but at least their vests on the outside. And so it looks like they're going to be approaching that home right now with their weapons drawn, just on the other side of this patrol car here. And once again, this is in response to an assault with a deadly weapon call, once again here on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street. I can tell you we're a great distance away from the scene right now. We're at the corner of Nearbrook and Crossglade Avenue. And we're using some of our newer technology to be able to bring you this live picture, but also to be able to gather this image from a good distance, one that keeps us safe, but also keeps us out of the way of first responders. So that's what we're trying our best to do right now, but we thought we'd bring you this image. We had a lot of people wondering what was going on here in Canyon Country, but once again, this is just off of Soledad Canyon Road. If you know where Crossglade Avenue is, where the Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, Carlos Jr. is, in Canyon Country, we're just north of that intersection and to the east. So once again, we're here at the corner of Crossglade Avenue and Nearbrook Street, and they're targeting a home right now in the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street. And typically what they're doing right now is they're going in to clear the home to make sure there's no one else inside. The units were waiting for backup before they were approaching the home, but we did hear a traffic stop involved, and Air 29 from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Aero Bureau above us, as we said earlier, they're providing that aerial advantage, but they're here for that traffic stop, and they're also here for this investigation as well. But as soon as they leave, we're going to know that they're going to probably issue a code 4 in just a short time after they clear that house. And what that means is all clear, no additional assistance required. But we can see deputies surrounding the home right now on all sides. But at least what we can see, at least about 4 or 5, possibly 6 patrol cars here, and deputies working to talk to some of the people they detained just a short time ago to get some additional details as the other deputies work to clear the home. But we're going to work to try to obscure their identity at this point in time as best we can. until we know any further information, because at this point in time they're just detained. We don't know if they're a suspect in anything. We don't know what their involvement is at this point in time, because it's still very early in the investigation and we have not received any information in terms of what their involvement is. But quite simply, they may have just been inside the home that was targeted just a short time ago, once again on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street. But if you have any questions as to what you're seeing right now, any questions about what's going on, you're welcome to ask them in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to answer them as effectively and efficiently as we possibly can. But I can tell you, not a lot of information floating around at this point in time. What we can tell you is exactly what's going on here, and this is in response to an assault with a deadly weapon call, once again here on Nearbrook Street. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Aero Bureau up above in Air 29 orbiting around the scene. But we can see deputies maintaining their perimeter around this area. We were actually in the area checking out another call when we heard this call go out, so we responded to this call to try to see what was going on. And typically we go live when there's any high stakes calls, or what we call hot calls, in terms of anything that the public may need to know. So it's simply because they're shutting down a street here and they have the helicopter out and there's a very large police presence, really warrants us determining what more information we can get here and showing you exactly what's going on. Because as soon as we got here on scene, I can tell you we had at least a couple of people ask us what's going on. You know, they're residents here in the area. They're wondering what's going on. They didn't know if they needed to stay in their homes. And so we're able to help relay some of that information from the officials. And the officials right now still working on clearing the inside of that home. And that's why we're kind of parked on this static image right now. But if you were joining us at the very beginning of this, you saw deputies using their service weapons to detain about 5 people from inside this home on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street, and then additional deputies joined them. And then some other deputies went inside the home to try to clear it. And right now they're still inside, and they have not come out yet. And it's been about, I want to say, 2 to 3 minutes so far since they've gone inside the home. It could be a little more, it could be a little less, but I want to say ballpark around 2 to 3 minutes that they've been inside working to clear that residence. But once again, for those of you who have just joined us, we can see quite a few of you have. I'm going to give you a quick update. This is just a response to an assault with a deadly weapon call here on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street here in Canyon Country. If you're new to the area or not really familiar with where Nearbrook Street is, because I can tell you a lot of these streets here in the Soledad Whites Canyon Road area break up into many pieces and don't quite connect but have the same street name. But this is Nearbrook Street, the stretch of Nearbrook Street just between Altamere and Crossglade Avenue. This is just north of Soledad Canyon Road, just east of Whites Canyon Road. If you're familiar with the Walnut Springs area, that's near where we are, just a couple of blocks to the southeast. And so we're seeing a lot of people trying to get in this neighborhood as they come home, not able to at this point in time, so they're parking and really just taking a break until sheriff's deputies clear the scene here, until they render the situation safe. But until that happens, this street will be shut down and no one will be allowed in at this point in time. So once again, they're still maintaining their perimeter here in case anyone tries to run. They have the Aero Bureau up above just trying to give them directions from the air, but they also have deputies here on the ground keeping that house fully surrounded. But we're not sure on the particulars of this assault with a deadly weapon call yet, but we're working on getting some updated information out as soon as we can. Just excuse me for a second, I'm messaging our newsroom right now to see if we have any updated information. And for a second it sounded like the Aero Bureau was leaving, but they're actually just opening up to a wider orbit. And the difference between an orbit and a, hovering or a, flying in circles, orbiting really keeps the Aero Bureau safe in terms of, people firing weapons, but also giving them a full 360-degree vantage point to be able to look at the scene from all angles. So that's really what their goal is, and their goal also to help coordinate with ground units to get them in places where they need to be in terms of setting up a containment. Because right now, their number one goal is setting up that containment, keeping that house surrounded, keeping it surrounded in a sense of nobody running out and escaping custody. And that's really some of their roles. They have additional roles up above and additional tools that we're not going to quite get into at this point in time. But as you can see, we're losing a little bit of daylight here, but we can see sheriff's deputies working to exit the home right now. And it looks like the Aero Bureau might be leaving, as we had somewhat predicted earlier. And you can see those deputies outside the home at this point in time, but not coming out with anyone in tow. So we're going to work on some updated information. But I can tell you they've since sent off the helicopter, so a little bit of silence here. And they're working on talking to some of these individuals here, but at this point in time it looks like it's mostly all clear. But we're going to work on gathering some updated information, so I'm going to break away for just a second and speak to someone here at the scene to see if they've been given the all clear. So just hold on and bear with me for just a second. So it looks like deputies are going to continue their investigation at this point in time. Right now they're still working on determining what took place, but for us that's going to do it for our live coverage at this point in time, because at this point they are clear. They've left the helicopter Air 29 back on patrol through Santa Clarita and Palmdale, Lancaster. So that's going to do it for us here at the scene of a response for an assault with a deadly weapon call. Reporting live here on the 18,900 block of Nearbrook Street, this is Austin Dave.